In this video, I am going to discuss to you the different types of flowchart and steps on how to develop a flowchart. A flowchart will help you understand your process and uncover ways to improve and analyze what is happening. It shows the breakdown of a task into all the needed steps. Each step is represented by a symbol and connecting lines that shows the step-by-step progress. Here is an example of a flowchart. There are two types of flowchart. The first one is the linear flowchart. It is a diagram that displays the sequence of work steps that make up a process. This tool can help identify rework and redundant or unnecessary steps within a process. This is an example of a linear flowchart. The next type of flowchart is a deployment flowchart. It shows the actual process flow and identifies the people or groups involved at each step. Horizontal lines define customer-supplier relationships. This type of chart shows where the people or groups fit into the process sequence and how they relate to one another throughout the process. This is an example of a deployment flowchart. Here are the methods for constructing a flowchart. First is identify the right people to develop the chart. Next is to determine what you expect to get from the flowchart. Third, identify who will use it and how will use it. Fourth, define the level of details you need. Lastly, establish the boundaries of the process to be improved. Analyze and interpret a flowchart. First is to determine who is involved in the process. Next is form theories about root causes. Third, identify ways to streamline the process. Fourth, determine how to implement changes to the process. Fifth, locate cost added only steps. And lastly, provide training on how the process works or should work. These are the key steps in developing a linear flowchart. First is to define the process to be flowcharted, the purpose for flowcharting it. Next is to assemble the right people to develop the flowchart, those operators, technicians, or office workers who are involved in the process. Third, establish process boundaries, or the starting and ending points. Identify the major activities or sub-process that are included in the process. Determine what is not included in the scope of the process to remove any doubt or confusion about the boundaries. This may also help establish the scope of related processes. Fourth is the list of the steps, activities, and decisions to be charted. If your team is not sure about a step, mark it to be investigated later. Next is to put the steps in chronological sequence. Sometimes it is easier to start with the last step and work back to the first step. Next is to assign the flowchart symbols, such as boxes, diamonds, and triangles. And lastly, review and title the flowchart. Let's make a flowchart that shows the basic troubleshooting for no video output. The problem or the error is when you turn on the computer, there is no video output or no display on the screen. In writing a flowchart, the first symbol is an oval, which indicates the beginning point of the process. Next is a rectangle that shows the actual process, which is open the computer. Next step is writing a diamond, which indicates the decision element. To continue the process of troubleshooting, after opening the PC or the computer, does the monitor open? This is your decision point. If the answer is no, using the process symbol, the actual process is to check the cables. Check the VGA cable or the HDMI cable. Then it will go back to the first process, which is opening the computer, to the decision point. Does the monitor open? This time, when the answer is yes, that indicates of the end of the process. It means to say that checking of cables is the solution to the given problem. Let's check your understanding. For 3 minutes, make a flowchart that shows the process of basic troubleshooting for undetected wireless computer mouse. The timer starts now. Let's see now if we have the same answer. Basic troubleshooting for undetected wireless computer mouse. First is the start. The first process is to open the PC. Next is to use the mouse to click on the Windows button. The decision point is, does the Windows menu pop out? If your answer is no, the process is to check if the battery is installed properly. After that, it will go back to the second process, which is use the mouse to click on the Windows button, up until the decision point, which is, does the Windows menu pop out? This time, if your answer is yes, it will end the flowchart.